the pressure who no buck. If you not have no education, people treat you like a book.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial in this COVID-19 pandemic season. Parents, thank you very much for the work that you have been doing at home. As teachers, we're very proud of you. Keep working with us. Thank you. In the last couple of lessons, we have been looking at fractions. We looked at addition of fractions, knowing that to add fractions, you need to make their denominators the same. So you need to use the LCM. After you use the LCM, you need to find equivalent fractions. The rules for adding and subtracting are basically the same. We also went on to multiplying fractions. To multiply fractions, if it's a mixed number, you change it to an improper fraction. Then you multiply the numerator by the numerator and the denominator by the denominator. If it's not a mixed number, you can just go ahead and multiply the numerator by the numerator and the denominator by the denominator. To divide fraction, we use what's called KFC. Keep, that means keeping the first fraction, flipping the second fraction, and changing the sign in the middle from divide to times. We're going to be going through a series of these now, but I'm going to be looking at what an exam question could look like. What an exam question could look like. Here we have a question, 6 2/3 plus 1 1/5 divided by 6 2/5. So here we have a two-part question. We're adding and we're dividing. If you forget how, if you've forgotten, okay, no. Here we have a question, 2 2/3 plus 1 1/5. We're going to be dividing that by 6 2/5. So here we have a two-part question, an addition and a division. Now, if you've forgotten how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions, stop a bit and go back and look at my previous videos. Now let's have a go at this question. But before I work this question out, I would like you to stop this video, have a go at the question, and see if you can work it for yourself. Now let's go. The first thing we're going to do is to do the addition part. So I have 2 2/3 plus 1 1/5. So that's the first part I'm going to be doing. How do we add mixed numbers? We add the whole numbers together first. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to put that 3 there. Then I'm going to find my LCM for 3 and 5. I'm going to use the biggest number, or the bigger number in this case. I'm going to be looking in the 5 times table. For the first number, I see in the 5 times table, and I see it in the 3 times table. And that's going to be 15. What do I do from 3 to get to 15? Times it by 5. So if I times the denominator by 5, I have to times the numerator by 5. That gives us 10. What do I do from 5 to get to 15? Times by 3. So if I times the denominator by 3, I have to times the numerator by 3. So 3 plus 1 is 3 times 1 is 3. Now I have 3 wholes and 10 and 3 and 13 out of 15. So I have 3 wholes and 13 out of 15. That's just the addition part. I'm now asked to divide it. So the new question I now have is 3 13 over 15 divided by 6 2 over 5. So that's the new question that I now have. Now let's work that question. Now the new question I now have is 3 13 over 15 divided by 6 2 over 5. Right. Remember how we work division of fractions? This is a mixed number, so I'm now going to change it to an improper fraction. 15 times 3 is 45, add 13 is 58. So we now have 58 over 15. We're now going to divide that by 6 times 5 is 30, add 2 is 32 over 5. So now we have this, that's just 2 improper fractions. Remember, to divide fractions, we use KFC. Keep, flip, change. So I'm going to keep this one, 58 over 15. I'm going to flip this one or find the reciprocal. So I'm going to do 5 over 32. And I'm going to change this sign from divide to times. Now, we can do this by multiplying that by that and that by that. But you notice that these numbers are big. So because these numbers are big, it's easier to reduce the numbers by canceling. So I can say 5 can go into 5 one time, 5 can go into 15 3 times. These two are even numbers, so 2 can divide them. So 2 into 58 is going to give us 29 times, and 2 into 32 is going to give us 16 times. Now I have 29 times 1, which is equal to 29, and 3 times 16, which is going to give us 48. So now we have 29 over 48 for our answer. So our answer is now 29 out of 48. Now here we have another question. This question involves a subtraction and a division. So 3 1/3 take away 2 3/5 divided by or all over 2 1/5. This line means divided by. Now again, I recommend you stop this video, have a go at this, see if you can do it, and then come back and check the answers. Now, let's have a go at what's going on. So that's the question. Now, I'm going to do my subtraction 2 ways because I want you to choose whichever one you want. Okay, let's do it by subtracting. So I have 3 1/3 take away 2 3/5. So 3 take away 2 is equal to 1. It means I have 1 whole there. Now I'm going to do 1/3 take away 3/5 to see if I have enough of this that I can take 3/5 off it. Remember, to take away fractions, you need to do LCM. You need to find the lowest common multiple to be able to change it to an improper fraction. My lowest common multiple in this case is 15. If I use the 5 times table and the 3 times table, the first number I find in the 5 times table and it's in the 3 times table is 15. What do I do from 3 to get to 15? Times it by 5. So if I times the denominator by 5, I need to times the numerator by 5. So that becomes 5. What do I do from 5 to get to 15? Times it by 3. So if I times the denominator by 3, I need the top to times the numerator by 3. Here I have 5 take away 9, which means this was not enough. 5 take away 9 is minus 4 over 15. It means I need 4 more pieces. That was not enough. If you're going to do this method, this is what you now do. Remember that you have 1 whole cake left up there. You need 4 over 15 more. That means you've got to cut this cake. So I'm going to cut this cake into 15 pieces. So I have 15 over 15, take away 4 over 15, and that gives me my answer as 11 out of 15. That gives me my answer as 11 out of 15. Now I'm going to do the other method that I think you might more be familiar with. So I have 3 1/3 take away 2 3/5. Change that to an improper fraction first. So 3 3s 9 and 1 10 over 3. Take away 5 2s 10 and 3 13 over 5. Again, our denominator is going to be 15. 3 into 15 is 5. Times that by 5, you have to times the top by 5 as well. 10 times 5 is 50. 5 into 15 is 3. Times the top bottom by 3 or the denominator by 3, you have to times the numerator by 3 as well. 3 times 13 is 39. 50 take away 39 is going to be equal to 11. So I have 11 over 15. The only difference I find in this one, sometimes you have big numbers to deal with. In this one, highly likely you don't have big numbers, but more than likely in school you'll be taught this way. quite all right to use that way as well. So it doesn't matter which way I work it, I know that 3.5 take away 3 2/5 is going to be left with 11 over 15. But that is just one part of our question. We were told to use that and divide it by that. So now our question is 11 over 15 divided by 2 1/5. Now remember how we divide fractions? We do KFC. But before I do KFC, this is a mixed number. I need to change it to an improper fraction. So I have 11 over 15 divided by 5 2's 10 and 1, 11 over 5. Now I can do my KFC. Keep, which is 11 over 15. Flip, which is going to be 5 over 11, and change the sign. Now I get 55, 11 times 5 times 11 is 55, and that is going to be 165. So I have 55 over 165. We can cancel this down. So both of them can divide it by 5. 5 into that is going to be 11. 5 into that is going to be 5 into 15, 11 over 33. So 11 over 33 can be divided by 11 again, gives us 1 over 3. But we did not have to do that. We could make our answer, our life easier by having smaller numbers to deal with. So what we could have done here is to cancel down to make these. So that top number, 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 15, 3. So 5 into 5, 1, 5 into 15, 3. 11 into 11, 1, 11 into 11, 1. So what we would have had here is 1 times 1, which gives us 1, over 3 times 1, which gives us 3. So we still get 1 out of 3. So being able to cancel will be very beneficial here in terms of how quickly you get to your destination of your answer. So here, when we have that multiplication, we could do 11 times 5, which is 55, and then 15 times 11, which is 165. We cancel that down, we get 1 over 3. Or we could make our life easier by looking, can this be canceled down? Here we have a top number and a bottom number that we can find numbers that can cancel them. 5 can go into that, 5 can go into that. 5 to 5, 1, 5 into 15, 3. 11 can go into that, and 11 can go into that. 11 into 11, 1, 11 into 11, 1. Now what we now have is 1 over 3 times 1 over 1. We go back to the same thing, multiply numerator by numerator. So 1 times 1 will still give us 1. 3 times 1 will still give us 3, and we'll get our answer. Here we're going to be looking at our final question. And again, I'd like you to have a go at it and then come back and check your answers. This time we have a multiplication and a subtraction in one. So here we're going to do our multiplication first. So how do we multiply fractions? Let's write back our question over here. Remember, to multiply fractions, if there's a mixed number, the first thing you do is to change it to an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8, add 1 is 9 over 4. And that remains 4 out of 5. We don't need to do anything more. We just need to multiply the numerator by the numerator. 4 9s 36. Denominator by the denominator. 5 4s is 20. So we have 36 over 20. We can change that to a mixed number, and that gives us 1 and 16 over 20. And that 16 over 20 can be cancelled down because both can be divided by 4. So we have 4 into 16 is 4. 4 into 20 is 5. So we have 1 and 4 over 5. Now let's do the bottom part. So now we're going to do the bottom part of the question. The top part is 1 and 4 over 5. Now I have 3 over 5, take away a half. All I need to do is to find my LCM. My LCM in this case is 10. What do I do from 5 to get to 10? Times it by 2. If I times the denominator by 2, I need to times the numerator by 2. What do I do from 2 to get to 10? Times it by 5. If I times the denominator by 5, I have to times the numerator by 5. So that gives me 1 over 10. So 6 over 10, take away 5 over 10, gives us 1 over 10. Now this is what we now have, 1 and 4 over 5, because this gives us 1 and 4 over 5, and this gives us 1 over 10. Now we're going to be working. So 1 and 4 over 5 divided by 1 over 10. This is a mixed number, so we need to change it to an improper fraction. 5 ones 5 and 4, 9. So we have 9 over 5 divided by 1 over 10. Remember how to do division of fractions? You do KFC. Keep, flip, change. So I'm going to keep the first one, 9 over 5. I'm going to flip the second one, or what we call the reciprocal. I'm going to do 10 over 1. And I'm going to change this to a times. 9 times 10 is 90. And 5 times 1 is 5. We now have 90 divided by 5. So 90 divided by 5 is an improper fraction. We need to change that to a mixed number. So how many 5s into 90? You can easily do your bus stop shelter method if you're not too sure how to do that. So we would do 5, 90, if you wanted to do that. 5 into 9 goes 1 time, remainder 4. 5 into 40 is 8. So our answer is 18 wholes. So we have there as our answer 18 wholes. So in today's lesson, we looked at calculations with fractions. We looked at calculations that have additions, that had subtractions, that had multiplication and division. If there's anything more you'd like to see in this series of fractions, please let me know. Comment, send me a message to let me know what you'd like to see.
If you not have no education, people treat you like a